So today you learn how this guy, Trevor Blake, a physicist, decodify the messages that the universe has sent him, the universe, this your soul, God, Mickey Mouse, whatever you want to call it, and use it to manifest his first $100 million exit. He taught me everything that I know, and we also did a bit of small success, and then we taught it to so many people, and now you will learn how to do it too. But, and there's a big but, don't watch this video if you are on a diet, because you are going to get flooded with spaghetti accent. Let's go. Okay, so we start very quick. This is going to be fast, short, but incredibly fun. And after you want to do it twice. And that's exactly what I say to my girlfriend every night. With that said, watch this and then eventually rewatch it a second time if you don't understand, so it's sinking. Let's start 3, 2, 1, let's go. So before I tell you how to interpret sign, we need to understand first why there are signs, how does reality works. Okay, so I'm going to explain these two things. Then why do we need them? Okay, and the last point is how to interpret it. Okay, so let's start. Apparently, quantum physics says the reality works as a mirror. It means that when you smile, the mirror smiles, life smiles you back. And if you think you are the best of the best of the best, life will prove you right. But if you think you are insecure, you don't know what to do, and you're not that good, then reality will prove you right. But just don't believe a random guy that looks like Jesus after a rave on YouTube. Don't believe me. What you need to do is you just watch this video, the #1 voice when it comes to science of consciousness, Dr. Hoffman. What he says is, when something happens, the chance that it's going to happen again become higher. So if you feel like you rule the planet, the chance that you're going to feel that again will become higher. But how does this thing work? How does it work? How come if I really feel good, life prove me right, something happened that will make me feel better? How does that work? It works in the following way. You think you are you, there's your logical you, and there's logical Francesco, okay, that's me, right? Apparently, I am very, very small, and I can only process 41 bits of information a second. What does that mean? It means that my brain, my logical brain, can produce, the one that is talking, the one that is thinking, is producing 41 bits of information a second. My subconscious brain is indeed producing 11 million of information a second. So
we have about 4,000 thoughts an hour. A thought takes 500 milliseconds to form. Therefore, every hour, we're not thinking for 26.67 minutes. So we're kind of thinking half the time and not thinking half the time, but we don't know that we're not thinking half the time because we're not thinking. Thoughts are things, and as things, we can use them for our good or for our harm. It's a choice. But to make that choice, you need to understand what thoughts are and how they're formed and what happens to them after we've had them. This is real magic.
So basically, what are you talking with dumb Francesco? There's big subconscious Francesco that can understand everything and anything. Is the biggest ChatGPT on the planet, and can also, given of the quantum entanglement, given that all our brain is connected to anything on the planet, because of the quantum entanglement, can also perceive the other people. So you have a massive ChatGPT on your head, okay, that not just knows everything about you and whatever is around, also can perceive what other stuff are doing and can communicate with them. In a certain sense, you've experienced this because sometimes you're sitting on a chair and you're relaxing and you think, I wonder what John from high school is doing. And then at a certain point, John from high school call. Why? Because your bigger, massive ChatGPT subconscious brain, that you can call it soul, you can call it subconscious, you can call it Mickey Mouse, whatever. This big subconscious brain is now able to perceive that there is some thoughts of John about you because you guys are entangled, and then it gives you the information. So you think of John and then John's you. That's it. Or sometimes you meet a person and you're like, these persons stink. And everybody's like, no, what are you saying? This person is great. And then after 3 months, this person actually it's not good, it's not worth it. What happened then? is your subconscious telling you that your big ChatGPT that can predict the future, that is telling you, hey, this person is not good, okay? So just repeat, life is a mirror, and whenever you are in a state of happiness, for instance, then life will give you more reason to be happy because your big ChatGPT that can interact with everything and anything makes stuff happen for you to be happy, okay? Make stuff coming. And when you're sad, make stuff happening for you to be sad. That's it. A quick interruption for a very crucial and important message. Every year we select 33 people per year to do personal mentorship, me and Trevor, the self-made billionaire, to make sure that they apply everything so they can become our own case study. To just know more and learn more, you have to attend one of our masterclass. So every week, every 2 weeks, you can meet us live, me and Trevor, when we either guide you into the meditation or we teach you everything that he has done to make stuff happen. And the price is one smile. So you go down, you click the link, you subscribe, you watch the recording, and you have to pay one smile first, pay in advance, no refund. See you there. That's how it works. That's the theory behind it. Now, what happened? Given that this is the theory behind it, okay, whenever you are happy, it's true that reality will give you more reason to be happy. If you think you are the best of the best of the best and you start manifesting and thinking you're the king on the planet, it's true that reality will give you more reason to be there, and you're gonna end up being there. But it's not gonna be linear and it's not gonna be fast. If that would be the case, this guy, this $1 billion guy, it took 30 years to become a billionaire and it took 5 years to do his $100 million exit. Me, same thing, it took some times to get there, and everybody that is respected and now is rich and famous, it took certain times to get there, and it was not linear. Okay, so when reality changes, not linear, because getting to the right states will kick off the process, and now the process starts, but the process is not linear. People think it's gonna be this way, but the process is gonna be something else. The process is gonna be this way. You're gonna start here, okay, and you are going to, when you start being in the right state, when you start being positive, when you start feeling you have it, when your self-worth is good, you're gonna see your life improving. Great, amazing, right? Now, after a bit of time, things will start going south. Here you feel you rule the planet. Here you feel you've lost everything. But now in this specific process, when you lose everything, you're not that desperate because you say, you know, I gained everything, I lost everything, I can do it back. And now that's where reality is, because things get stuck. Things get stuck. And then at a certain point, whenever you expect, when the least you expected, things go back up and you get your Ferrari. So let's imagine I want to open a pizza shop. I want to open a pizza shop. I want to be the best pizza maker on the planet. I want to have hundreds of pizzerias everywhere. What I do is I start thinking I am the guy that owns pizzerias, and I start meditating and I start visualizing the day after I already made $1 billion with my pizzerias. Right. Now, for the very 3 or 4 months, let's say up to 6, things will go amazing. And I will see a lot of money coming. So here, I don't need any sign. I don't need to be helped by universe, because the only sign that I'm receiving is cash, is money, is dinero, is plata. I love it. I can bait on it. I don't need any sign. That's the sign that I want. Bank account going ka-ching, right? But then, after 6 months of doing this process, after 6 months of being in the right states, thing goes down. And once thing goes down, they stay down. Now, you start thinking, okay, this thing doesn't work. I lost my magic, I'm not that good, I did everything wrong. But it's actually part of the process. It's actually how does that work. So now, in this moment, this is where everything goes down, that your big soul is telling you, hey, I'm gonna give you some signs. I'm gonna give you some kind of information that you will interpret a sign to know that you're on the right track, because here you don't know what you're doing. So I'm gonna repeat to your own self, everything is going fine. What are these signs? These signs, usually there's 3 kind of signs, 3. 90% is this one. So usually every time you see something like 1111, a coincidence, a specific thing that happened, every time you think of China, and straight away a Chinese man comes, or every time you're like, you know what, I really need to go to Florence, and you see advertising of Florence, usually is your subconscious soul telling you, you are on the right track. I know it feels painful, but you are on the right track. Second kind of sign is, let's say that tomorrow I go to sushi restaurant. So I get invited to sushi restaurants. Then after, my best friend tells me to go to Japan. He's going to Japan. I'm like, okay, nice. And then the third thing is, a person comes to me and says, a Japanese person comes to me with an idea for a business. Now, 3 different things. Maybe there's the universe sign telling me I should listen more to this Japanese guy with this idea. That's the time to go. Third thing is, this is supposed to be a feather. I know it doesn't look like a feather, it looks like a leaf, but like, why do we care? Like, why do we care in the first place? Why do we care? Anyway, so this is supposed to be a feather. You know, maybe it's a feather of a bird that has a fight. And with that said, sometimes you receive signs like feathers, birds, animals, and you feel there's something to it. Like, I remember one day I saw a praying mantis in front of my door. I never saw a praying mantis ever. And I saw one in front of my door dead. I knew it was a sign. So every time you look at something, it's like, okay, this might be a sign. Then you just take a picture, you upload it into don't tell anyone. There's something called ChatGPT. You upload into ChatGPT and they tell you what kind of sign could that be. That's a way your subconscious is communicating something with you. In my case, the praying mantis was this beautiful message that it says, be patient. So again, you're gonna receive signs. 90% of your signs will be coincidence to tell you that you are in the right place. It feels bad, but you're doing good. The second thing that happens is that you're gonna see and listen to signs that will point you to a direction. It'll be like, okay, makes sense. The third thing, it will be messages from your subconscious. This is 90%, 5%, and 5% usually. Of course it changes, but usually that's how it is. Now, why do we care about it? Why do we care? Because these are super important. I'll give you an example. When I started my own business, I keep having this thing called hummingbird. And then finally, at a certain point I Google it and I find there is a venture capital firm called Hummingbird. I contact them and they save me the biggest problem I had back in time. This other guy, Trevor here, he kept having coincidence about going to Las Vegas. At a certain point, he decides to go and check what's going on in Las Vegas, and he randomly bumped into the guy that then went and bought his $100 million business. So that's how it works. Now, before we get into the absolute end of it, there's one thing that you should realize, and that is very critical. Anytime, I don't know, if you ever read a book that is about a successful person, there is this thing. And he got it, and I got it, and everybody else that been through a successful process got it. It seems that during your process, right at the end, when things get difficult, you have a Judas moment. So it means you have a moment when you get betrayed. It doesn't mean betrayed by a person, but maybe betrayed by an idea. Like Sam Walton, the guy that created Walmart, got in a certain way robbed of his own store. Or Moses still got in a certain way, someone took his own stuff right before it was exploding. Elon went almost bankrupt. Everybody, if you look at this story, they have a moment where they go either betrayed or basically have a big delusion. So if you're here, it means this big moment that you don't know what is arriving is about to arrive. So I just want to say congrats. And I just want to say that last thing, you don't need me, you don't need Trevor, you don't need anyone else in this life. You only need to sit down and listen to your own big guy here that is telling you what's right and what's wrong, because this guy never fails. Big pleasure, guys.
So I'm going to say that conscious experiences can trigger other conscious experiences somehow. So really, in some sense, there's two basic assumptions.
So there's some kind of causality.
Is there a chain of causality? Does this relate to dynamics?
I'll say there's a probabilistic relationship. In the current version of my theory, I'm not explaining conscious experiences where they came from. That's the miracle. That's one of the miracles. So I have two miracles in my theory. There are conscious experiences, like the taste of chocolate, and that there's a probabilistic relationship. When certain conscious experiences occur, others are more likely to occur.